Salute BookTube. Remember me? I'm back. After a long hiatus, I am back on BookTube. I'm sure you're all very excited. But yes, I have been gone for a while and now I'm back. And I thought, although it's very late and I'm actually really tired, maybe it shows, I did want to make a video, finally get back into the groove of things. I also wanted to make a video today, which is Tuesday, for Tag Tuesday. I thought coming back, what better way to reintroduce myself back to the BookTube community than with a tag video. So yeah, here it is. The tag I chose to do, I was tagged while I was away. I was tagged by a few people, but there was one old BookTube friend. She's not old. We've been friends for a while on BookTube, and that's JJ, the Bookworm Blacksmith. She tagged me in a tag that has to do with travel, and I think it's called the Packing Heat tag, something like that. Nothing against it, but I already made a video, a very similar tag. Maybe it is the Packing Heat tag. I think I did it before. Or I did something very similar, and I've been traveling a lot, and I'm sick of packing and luggage. I just want stability right now. Sedentary. So she very kindly tagged me, but I'm gonna do another tag. I thought was a little bit, I don't want to say more interesting, but like I said, I've already done one. It's either the same tag that she tagged me on, or one that's very similar, so I don't want to duplicate. But this tag, and the tag is called the Confessions of a Book Collector tag. JJ has done as well, so I'll consider her. She tagged me on this one instead of that one. But JJ is not the only one who's been doing it. I've noticed that a lot of my favorite booktubers have also made this book tag, have done this tag, so I said, hey, I want to jump in. And I thought it's also a good tag to do to reacquaint yourselves with me. Maybe some of you haven't seen me for a while or seen any of my videos for a while, or maybe some of you are new and you want to get to know me. A lot of people, I guess, when they see my video templates, or they open my videos and they see this large library, they have questions. You can see the library is getting larger. There's a lot of books on the table. That table used to have nothing on it, and now it's full of books. So I need to deal with that. But I'll take care of that in another video. But yeah, so I thought this Confessions of a Book Collector tag would be the perfect way to get back into BookTube. It's the right sort of tag to do to help you guys refresh your memories about me. Just before I do the prompts, this was created, the tag was originally created by Mike, another one of my very good BookTube friends, Mike at Bibliophile Reads. He'll be tagged there. Although JJ didn't tag me on this, I'm going to tag her just out of honor, I guess, honorable mention. But she did tag me on another tag, which I think I already did. It's been a while, but I forgot. I forgot if I've done the tag or not. But anyway, this one I know I haven't done. It's called Confessions of a Book Collector. It's been going around for a while now since I was gone, so I thought I would do it before it gets too outdated. Although it's not really dated, you can do this tag at any time. Anyway, let's get to the prompts. First prompt. I own more books than I can realistically read. You guys be the judge of that. What do you think? Not only that, those books are all double stacked. So all these shelves are double stacked. So, and I've got them piled up here and everywhere, and I need to sort this out. This isn't very aesthetically pleasing, but I own more books than I can realistically read. I don't want to say never say never. I don't want to say never say never. I think if I stick to a plan, I probably can do it. The only issue is you can't stop purchasing books. So books are always coming in, and they can much easily come in than they can go out. That's the problem. So Do I own more books than I can realistically read? Let me know in the comments what you think. Number two, I bought books just because they were beautiful. Typically no. Typically no. I should preface this first question, the first question and the second question, um, especially if you're new to this channel, or if you've forgotten because it's been so long. I am based in a country called the United Arab Emirates, a small country in the Middle East. Now, here in the United Arab Emirates, the whole country, there's about three, three and a four, let's say four used bookshops in the whole country. So I'm not just including my city, I'm including neighboring city. So there's not that many. So when people say, "Oh, well, why you have so many books and why do you?" Well, now I'm hoarding, but this wasn't always the case. You can see my earlier videos. There's not that many used bookstores. There are new bookstores, but there's not that many used bookstores. And most of the books I buy, again, most of what you see here is used. I don't purchase these at retail price. That's very expensive. So there's not that many used, and I feel impelled or compelled to support these used bookshops, because if one of them, and they I know most of the owners, I'm a very good customer, uh, they complain to me. They say, uh, it's tough sometimes, as any business owner would probably know, and if one of them was to go under, I'm in big trouble. The other thing is libraries. Again, there are libraries here, but of course the official language here is Arabic. Most of the libraries here are in the Arabic language, and the English section is going to be much smaller than any library you would find in a Western country, or in the United States or the UK, sort of thing. So I'm limited. So when I go to a used bookstore and I see that book that I've heard booktubers talk about, or that I've been looking for a long time, or that I know I'll never see again, I have to pounce on it. I have to, because I'll never know if I'll see it again. It's really that's the case. And then that goes into prompt number two. I bought books just because they're beautiful. Again, you could do that if you rummage around the used bookstores here, but again, I don't have that. I've seen booktubers based on the West. They've got so many options, because those books, and again, we're talking about English books. These are published either in the United States or in the United Kingdom, exceptions Canada, Australia, whatever. But you're gonna have huge stock there. To bring those Western books here, you're talking about a much smaller game. So again, I'm in a much more scarce environment. Uh, have you bought books just because they're beautiful? Again, you can't be picky here. Again, if you see it, it might not be in the best condition. It might not be the edition that you like, but you don't know if you're going to see that book again, so you're going to have to pounce. That being said, very rarely, I'm more of a title. I like the subject. I want this book. Condition, look, edition, beautiful, aesthetics, not a priority for me. There are exceptions, of course. Again, this one is just because it's beautiful, not so much because I'm very much interested in the subject, or I have any kind of specialty, or that it has anything to do, or anything like that. But I've saw this book once at a bookstore, and it was super cheap, used bookstore. I would never buy this new. But it was at the used bookstore. It was in excellent condition, almost flawless, and it's kind of beautiful, I guess, for me at least. This is The Art of War, illustrated by Sun Tzu. And you can see this black thing here. It's got these it's like tied like a ribbon. And you've got some Chinese characters, and then it's made from very, very nice paper. And you can see it's illustrated with Chinese characters, translated by James Trapp. It's got maps, and this is Sicily. Like this, I still haven't read this. I just bought this because it's beautiful, but it's got all kinds of art, and it's not just Chinese or East Asian artwork. It's you can see there's Napoleon's March. So it uses contemporary or not contemporary, but all it uses Sun Tzu's his principles of the art of war on historical battles throughout history. There's a map of China. Um, just some really nice. There's some Asian art too. I just saw one. If I can find it really quickly, yeah, you know, this kind of thing. But you can't see it here, but the paper is very nice. This is a very well made thing. You can see some American troops in Vietnam. So photographs and artwork. Um, Again, I wouldn't usually purchase this. I'm not Sun Tzu. I'm not a big military. I read, again, for most of you who are new, most of what I read is nonfiction. Most of it is history. That being said, I'm not the biggest military history person, so there's that. But yeah, so this, you know, I purchased, you know, it looked beautiful and it was super cheap. But this is a rare. This is an exception. I don't usually do that. So let's go to prompt number 3. Yes, number 3. Finding a great book is sometimes more exciting than reading it. Sometimes, yes. Again, like I said, I've got about 4 used bookstores, and we can say, I'm saying 4. Is it even 4? It's probably 3. 1, 2, 3. It's really 3. It's not even 4. I don't know why I said 4. It's 3. And but if in one of those 3 you do find a nice little nugget, a nice gold nugget, it's always you find a great pearl. It is always nice. Is it better than reading the book? Yeah, sometimes. I love the thrill of the hunt. I do love used book shopping. Like if I'm bored and I'm alone, I just put me in the used bookstore. I can kill a good hour or 2. But yeah, more exciting than reading it sometimes, especially if it's here where I'm at and where it's, you know, again, it's rare. It's rare to find something like really nice, but it is exciting, definitely. Number 4, I've bought duplicates by accident or because I liked a different edition. I have done accidents. My library has grown so much. Before I could, all in my head, I could remember like, yes, this I own, this I don't own. My library has subsequently increased in the last, I don't know, decade, half a decade, where I'm starting to get like, do I own this? And I'm at the used bookstore. I'm like, do I own this? I've reached that stage, and I don't think that's a good sign. But I've made the mistake. So here's one example. I purchased this book, and I bought duplicates. I bought them almost like I bought one, and then I found the duplicate like 2 weeks later, and I had forgotten 2 weeks ago that I purchased the book. The book is this. It's by Christopher de Belague, and it's called The Lion House, The Coming of a King, which it doesn't really tell you who this is about. It's about Suleiman the Magnificent, the great Ottoman Sultan. So I bought this, and then 2 weeks later, I bought a duplicate. That being said, both of these were bought at the used bookstore. I think they were bought at different used bookstores, and that's why I got mixed up. But used bookstore. If I were buying this new, and they're both quite good condition. At least I think this one is a bit better. I don't know. Anyway, I'll get rid of one. I'm gonna have to. But again, bought at the used bookstore. If I was to purchase a new, if I was purchasing this new and paying full retail price, I would definitely make sure that I don't have a duplicate copy. I wouldn't. I'm not that. I'm not a big spender. I'm not a big spendthrift. So I'm actually kind of careful with that kind of stuff. But when it's used and it's really cheap, you know, sometimes my library is growing, so I need to start being careful, or maybe reviewing my shelves before I go book shopping, you know, just taking a quick look, or maybe doing a book tour. Let's see. And then it says duplicates by accident or because I liked a different edition. I've had that case too. So for this, I'm going to give you an example. Again, this is rare, but you'll see when you see the books. This is again, this is I'm based in the Middle East, and I'm a history reader, so this is really up my alley. And so initially I purchased this because it was I found it cheap. It's T.E. Lawrence's Seven Pillars of Wisdom. Um, and this will do as a reading copy, and it's the edition and all of that. But I don't know, this cover, it's nice. It looks like it's a famous artist, but does it say who it's from? Anyway, it'll take me too long to find out. But I had this edition. But Seven Pillars of Wisdom, this is a great primary source of Middle Eastern history. So for this, I make an exception of if I find another edition and it looks nicer, then I'll get it. So here's one example. I found this, although it's not in excellent condition. I just loved the cover, so I went and grabbed it. It's a duplicate. It's just another. This is the Wordsworth Classics edition of Seven Pillars of Wisdom. Sorry about the glare. I'm sorry about that, but you can see that with the very beautiful mosque and very Middle Eastern setting. I liked it better than this. So, and then I found another edition, and this one I actually paid quite a bit of money for, but the edition was too nice. It was too nice. Again, about that beautiful. This one also probably qualifies, but this is, again, it's Seven Pillars of Wisdom. But look at this cover. Isn't that nice? This is the Classic World Literature edition. Classic World Literature. It's also Wordsworth. The website is of Wordsworth, but it's a different cover. So, yeah, I've got 3 editions, but that's the Seven Pillars of Wisdom. This is classic modern Arabian history. So, you're gonna have to, let me off on this one. You know what I mean? But again, another example I just wanted to show you. I found it, although both these covers are ugly, but this subject matter, again, as I mentioned, I am from the United Arab Emirates, but I'm half Iraqi. So this is Iraqi history. It's by Freya Stark, famous British spy and travel writer who was based in Iraq and the region, but especially in Iraq for a long time. This book is called Rome on the Euphrates, and it's a very, very ugly cover. The subtitle is The Story of a Frontier. There she is, Freya Stark, right over there with male Arab headdress. She was, I believe she was, yes, she was a lady, but she was somehow able to disguise herself as a man in certain instances. But anyway, the frontier, Rome on the Euphrates, the Roman Empire stretched from Scotland to the Euphrates. And the Euphrates River was really the border of the Roman Empire. After the Euphrates was the Persian Empire. And that border wasn't a peaceful border. The Romans and the Persians had always fought each other, and most of the battles and all the killing fields was on the Euphrates and the Tigris, which is pretty much modern day Iraq. So Iraq is that great battlefield of civilization, and that's exactly what this book is about. There was the famous, which Roman emperor was it who was actually captured in a battlefield in Iraq when there was a war between the Persians and the Romans? Was it Septimus Severus? I should know. Septimus Severus? I should know. Don't quote me on that. But then I found, I found a hardcover copy of the same book, equally ugly cover, but it's Rome on the Euphrates. But I have a duplicate because this is a hardcover. One of them can be like a reading copy, and this can be like like a library holder, I don't know. But again, these are exceptions. Pillars of Wisdom, Rome on the Euphrates by Freya Stark. Actually, Freya Stark and Lawrence of Arabia were contemporaries, and I think they knew each other. I think they were actually friends, if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me, but I believe that is the case. But so yeah, duplicates, certain exceptions, or sometimes just silly errors, accidents. Number five, I sometimes rearrange my shelves for fun. I used to, but now I've got so many that now if I do rearrange, it's gonna be a problem. What I do need to do is get rid of books and then rearrange. So it's not fun anymore because I've got so many, and anybody who knows has got so many, you can see they're heavy and it gets tiring. But when you have that perfect amount, it's really fun. And I should rearrange. I need to clean the shelves, also see what books I have, jog the memory, so I do avoid the mistake I mentioned of accidentally buying duplicates. I did a bit of rearranging. You can't see it; it's off camera, and it looks really ugly now. But I was taking out books, my American history shelves for reading America 250. But anyway, I'll discuss that in another video. Number six, there are books I'll probably never read, but I'll never get rid of them. Um, uh, yeah, there are books I'll never read. I don't know if I'll never read them, but again, this book I got it again super cheap, so I jumped on it, but the the subject matter is really outside of my wheelhouse, and it's a big book, and it's a very complex subject. Let's just call it that. It's by Emmanuel Leroy Ladurie, and it's called The Ancien Régime, A History of France, 1610 to 1774. Sorry again about the glare. It's right there. Yeah, 1610 to 1774, the Ancien Regime, and look how big it is. It's really tall, and it's quite thick. And then look at the font. Of course, it does have photos. You've got like illustrations and that kind of stuff. But how deeply, unless you're really an expert or you really love France, you're a Francophile, maybe this book will have a use for you. But for me, what did the prompt say? There are books I'll probably never read, but I'll never get rid of them. Why I wouldn't get rid of this? I don't know if I'll never read it. I do want to read it, but I don't know. I really don't know. Um, why I never want to read it is because I just feel like if you have a book like this on your shelf, you look cultured, like you're cultured, like, hey, I've got a book on the Ancien Regime of France. You know what I mean? So I don't know if I want to get rid of it. Just it looks nice, makes me look smart. um, Similarly, this one I'll probably get rid of, but will I ever read it? This one again, similar, sort of medieval European. And it's still in its plastic. I bought it really cheap, so it was a bargain. It was a bargain. I think there's a prompt about bargains. So, but it's really cheap and it's still in its plastic. So it's brand new, but it was really cheap. It's one of those what do they call them? Like wholesale, like remainder sales. The Invention of Power. The subtitle is Popes, Kings, and the Birth of the West. But it's not. Just to read what this book is about. It's the Invention of Power points to the importance of a little noted event, the 12th century Concordant of Worms, as a foundational moment in the development of states and accountable government in Europe. It's not the biggest book, but I'll never get rid of this. I'll definitely get rid of this. Will I read it? Again, the Concordant of Worms. I don't know. But anyway, number seven. I've bought books simply because they were a bargain. Yeah, I just mentioned that. I mean, this was a bargain. I bought this because I would never buy this at full price. No way. There are certain books, of course, I'd buy new, but this is where I can take a chance. If it's I've got some spare change in the pocket, I'll take a chance on this. But bargain again. Like I said, most of what I buy is used, and I only buy new if it's really it's a book I really, 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 really want. Number eight. I like the idea of having certain books, even if I don't plan to read them soon. Yes, it's sort of related to the not the last one, but the one before, number six. There are books I'll probably never read, but I'll never get rid of them. I found this book. This is it's called Christopher Colon. It's about Christopher Columbus, his three ships that sailed west and discovered the North American landmass for Spain. Now, those of you who are eagle-eyed will see it's not called Christopher Columbus, it's called Christopher Colon, which is his Spanish name, because this is an Atlas Ilustrado de Christopher Colon. This book is in Spanish, and I purchased it brand new, full price. There's no author. Oh, there is an author, Maria Pilar Queralt del Hierro. And then underneath it, Patricia Diaz Pereda. I don't know, um, is she the co-author, or is she um, like the art director for the book? But look at that. Look, I bought this mostly for the art. There's just art all over this thing. But again, um, it's all in Spanish. It's all in Spanish. I don't speak Spanish. I don't read Spanish. I don't. No, but what does the prompt say? It says, I like the idea of having certain books, even if I don't plan on reading this soon. Unless I learn Spanish in the next couple of years, I don't know. But I do like having it just simply for the artwork. Just sorry, there were some papers inside. The artwork. Now, where did I buy the Spanish book? I bought this full price, and I bought it. I bought this in Spain. I was in Spain, and I was in the city where Christopher Columbus, the part of the world where Christopher Columbus actually sailed on the three ships, the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria. I actually went there, and the town is it's got a huge Christopher Columbus museum, and that's where I purchased this from. And I just couldn't let it go. So it's a souvenir, and it's also a grand work of scholarship and of history. So I plunged for it. I usually spend a bit more when I'm traveling. So but will I read this anytime soon? Will I ever read it? Will I ever get rid of it? Maybe this one was more appropriate for that last prompt. But there it is. That's it. There's one more. It's called a concluding question or an ending question, sort of like a bonus. What's one confession you have as a book collector? What's something you do that you think other collectors would understand? Well, again, well, I guess I am a collector. I don't think I can deny it anymore. But I think for this one, what I wanted to mention, where am I going to put this Columbus book? Let's put it gently over there. One thing that what was it? A confession that other collectors will understand is editions. Having uniform editions of the same book. You know, if you're a collector, I'm not a collector, but it is always more aesthetically pleasing when you've got the series, you've got it in order. And I've seen other booktubers do this tag, and I've seen them, they've got the same. As I mentioned, I purchase mostly used books. I have about 3 used bookstores that I can consult to purchase books, so I can't be picky. But I think collectors have this issue. It's when you have different editions for one series. So I have an example here. This is James Morris. Well, at the time he wrote it, he was James Morris. He eventually became Jan Morris, but anyway, the trilogy is his. Well, actually, it's interesting. I mentioned he was James Morris until she became Jan Morris. So it's his or her. I guess now it's her trilogy on the British Empire. And I was lucky enough to collect the 3 series at different times. So I bought the first one. I don't know if this is in order, but this is the order that I purchased it. I bought this one first. So this is titled Pax Britannica, The Climax of an Empire. And it's by James Morris. You can see the James Morris. And this is a Penguin edition, this edition of the book. And then at another time, I went to the used bookstore, and just by chance, I found this, This is, I guess, book two. Don't quote me on the order. This is Heaven's Command, an Imperial Progress. This is maybe book two, but then look at that. That's by Jan Morris. And this isn't the Penguin. This is a completely different edition. And then I found the third in the series. So I completed the series, but it's another different edition. And this is, again, it's James Morris again. And this is A Farewell to Trumpets, ending. An Imperial Retreat is the subtitle. And it's got Churchill on the cover. But as you can see, this is yet another edition. So you can see the size difference, and then you've got the Penguin, which is even complete. So I've got the complete set, but it's 3 different editions. So I think collectors, I'm sure they go through this thing, like, you know, you finally complete the set, but they're not uniform at all, and it's a little bit annoying. But again, I can't be picky. Beggars can't be picky. I'm just lucky that I do have some kind of bookstores, and that I can purchase books from them. But it's not always, you know, it's rare to find, you know, uniform sets. So let me know if you guys have this issue as well. You can let me know in the comments. If you've seen this video and you have a BookTube channel and you haven't done this tag and you want to, consider yourself tagged. This tag has been going around, so I don't know. I know a lot of people have done it, so I don't want to tag anybody individually, but just open it for anybody who does want to do it. Check out Mike Bibliophile Reads, who created this interesting tag, and check out JJ as well. I'll tag her because although she tagged me for another tag, I did this one instead, and she's done this one as well. So do check out her edition, her version as well. Okay, 30 again. We're back to 30-minute rambly videos. I apologize for that. Thank you for being here, BookTube. It's good to be back. I'll see you later. Salute.